Morning, everyone. I have a lot to share. I have a stack of letters. I don't know if you can see how big they are, but they're pretty big. It's a pretty big stack here. I did get them last week, but I was out of town, so I decided today would be a good time to start reading them. I thought also we would change filters. So maybe some of you non-believers will figure out that I'm a real person and I drink coffee. I don't know if an AI needs coffee or not, but I do. So we're going to start with July 7th through the 13th. Charges in jail. I'm not afraid of catching another charge, says an inmate in the bunk next to me. He's a year under my age and has spent almost a lifetime in jail. He lashes out at the dope smokers below him and the pervert who passes by. He seems to have a calmness sometimes while awake, but he's a loose cannon. He represents a gang of some kind, I think. I don't know how I'll anger him, but he does challenge everybody for control in different ways. He asked me for my peanuts earlier. What I find interesting about his approach to dope smokers is how aggressive he is with them. He threatens to put his hands on them. He will yell angrily and get the dorm's full attention. A couple of times I thought a fight would break out. My approach to the smokers is to not say anything and simply move to the floor if it gets really bad. I've never seen anybody yell at the smokers before. This is a problem an honest guard should be handling, not the inmates themselves. Clearly, the smoking problem is provoking fights. The inmates will risk extra charges over dope and fighting, but I sort of risk extra charges for trying to submit stories to a social media platform. My values of risk versus reward is very different from these inmates' values. Many of these guys I have met are willing to point knives and guns at their dating partners. I talked to one in his 40s who actually pulled the trigger at his girl's face. He claims it was simply an accident. I'm watching and being careful with my neighbor. I'm afraid a fight can break out any time, and it could be with me. July 11th, extra chow trays. During chow time, I get such an angry feeling sometimes. First, it's from being underfed. Then I feel a little anger when some inmates hand over uneaten food to others. We stack our trays at the door afterwards for a kitchen worker to pick up. A few inmates will beg for extra, and often they will get an extra tray or milk. I never get those extras as much as I would like to have an extra tray too. We have TV on all day, and curfew when it's turned off is between 12 midnight and 5 a.m. We watch a lot of BET, VH1, sports, and such. July 13th. There's a younger guy who puts his hands in his pants often enough to bother many of the other inmates. One older guy says that he doesn't care if he catches another charge and that he's going to put his hands on this creepy guy. The creep sits on the toilet a lot and does seem to play with himself. He was smacked on his head and told to stop his disturbing behavior. All I can do is watch. They understand each other better than I do about these problems. This is the sheet. It's very thin. You can see through it. July 13th, when someone new comes into the dorm with a plastic bag full of belongings, I know that they went to the hole for fighting. 2 days ago, one limped into the door looking angry. I think he got beat up. Often when inmates are sent to the hole, it seems to be for only a few days. As punishment, they don't have any of their stuff to use in the hole. They have to cope with less in a smaller space. This guy who came into our dorm didn't even stay 24 hours. I don't know what happened with him. He didn't get in another fight in this dorm. Sometimes the wrong inmates are mixed together in the dorm, and a fight can break out as soon as they enter. The guards are supposed to keep track of inmates who shouldn't be put together. We have individual master files, but our records may not be accurate, and the guards may also be a little sadistic and want to see fights erupt. But the hospital bills cannot be a cost that the taxpayers want to cover. July 14th. A white man was brought into the dorm 2 days ago and went to the hole on his own request to the guards today. I helped him with accessing the phone, kiosk, and how much time he is facing. He's looking at a minimum 1 year in jail for aggravated assault against a girlfriend. He sat down on the floor with me a few times and we talked a short time. He texted his girlfriend that he was going to kill her, and then he brandished a knife at her. He has a big bond. I think he went to the hole for more peace and quiet. He's only a couple years older than me. People who go to the hole for the first time might be scared of it, but people who have been to it once are not scared of the hole. The hole is a smaller room with a bunk bed and probably a boat, so 2 to 3 people are squeezed into this room for days and days with no TV or anything. I told the guy that I think his relationship with his girlfriend fell apart well before she called the cops on him. I'm sure he has a lot on his mind. July 14th. I just watched 4 guards walk into the dorm, 3 black shirts and 1 green shirt. They announced a name and then walked over to his bed. He was sleeping. They had their handcuffs out. They ordered him to stand up and arrested him in jail. He was led out of the dorm. The guards packed up his mattress and belongings. I think they took him to the hole for stealing from the kitchen. He was a trustee for about a week and a half, and now he's not. The trustees wear red uniforms, but he is back to wearing orange clothes. 1 inmate immediately took his bed. Also, another tried to get his tray at lunchtime, but the guards knew he was removed from the dorm already. The inmate said that he was traded a breakfast tray, but that didn't convince the guard. I remember this inmate from jail in April of 2022. He watched me get escorted out of that dorm because another inmate asked the guard to have me removed. A month earlier, another inmate was a kitchen worker for about a week. The guards simply fired him for not working hard enough and doing too much socializing with people on the job. He just had to give back his red uniform, and that was it. I would consider being a kitchen worker, but the rubber boots are too small. They get their feet wet a lot in there from cleaning trays at 3 a.m. every day. Later, a guard said that inmate got in a fight in the kitchen with another over work issues. Back in 2022, he scratched me while grabbing the TV remote from me. July 15th. Long sentences get longer. I asked a guard if this jail houses inmates with sentences of 5 or more years. He said no, but I don't believe him. I'm housed with people who have some very serious charges and likely nasty sentences. The long sentence inmates are possibly stealing food out of my locker, but not only do the really bad inmates pick more fights, but they steal and bully me. Then I'm told by a captain to command people to get off the toilet faster. One guy who sleeps next to the kiosk is actively blocking me from using it. He has an aggravated assault charge with use of a handgun against a dating partner. About noon, a little troublemaker came back into the dorm. He was in the hole for fighting. Previously, he fought a different inmate, so the young guy has been in and out of the hole already. Within 5 minutes of entering, he and another inmate were fighting between the beds, but it was a one-sided fight, and it started out very quiet under the sound of the TV. I started to first hear punches, and they were thuds mostly. The little guy whimpered a little bit and emerged with a cut above his eyebrow. The inmate seemed to be settling down after being in and out of the hole 4 times now. He makes me think of Bernie Mac, the comedian. Later, I learned that the smaller guy had a shank. I think we'll just do this one. July 21st. An inmate tried to thank me for sweeping and cleaning up the dorm with a broom. He reached his fist out for a fist bump, but I told him that I'm sweeping for the whole dorm and not just him. Then I twirled my finger around quickly, pointing at everyone. He told me to wake him up in the morning when the cleaning supplies arrive, but I prefer him sleeping instead. A different inmate came back from court and said that the prosecutor was fine with a 30-day sentence credit for time served. This is a domestic disturbance charge, but the judge said that she wouldn't accept a guilty plea from him until she hears from his wife first. And because he's on probation, so he has to sit an additional 10 days past the 30 days. I would think this is excessive time in jail for something that could have been, I can't really read it. It's very thin paper. And that one's tough for me to read. Sorry. July 22nd. Something strange happened overnight with one of the dope heads, which caused the guards to remove him from the dorm. The broom is gone. A bed opened up. There is also a new white guy in the dorm. This morning, 2 dope heads made sure to change out the trash bags to prevent me from getting milk cartons out of the trash. They must not like that I have a use of milk cartons to make paper. These are the same 2 guys who also prevented me from getting a haircut by controlling the haircut list and leaving my name off of it. At some point yesterday, a milk packet went missing from my locker. This is troubling. It was half full. I'm dealing with a really terrible person or persons in this dorm. I think that's why they decided to target my milk. I suspect the culprit is another dope head. I was next to his bed when the stealing began, and he's only 2 beds away now. One day he asked me specifically for an oatmeal, letting me know that he knew what I have. He has talked about stealing money from a hairstylist. She walked away from a drawer full of money, and he took $600. He stayed away for a few months, then returned. She was still very friendly, but a security guard blocked, and cops showed up. She had a video of his theft. He hasn't learned his lesson. I asked the white guy in the bunk below me if he has seen anything suspicious around my locker happen. He responded by saying that he used to hide his food in his pillow and sleep on it as security because he knows how people are around here. So after a good pause, I let him know that he didn't really answer my question. That was when he gave me an answer that caused me to distrust him even more. He said that he has to satisfy several egos in the jail and that it's a task that he doesn't like to do, but to survive here, he must pick and choose what is most important for his own survival. He's been here for over a year. He refuses to say whether or not he has seen anything happen, so he may either have seen something happen in my locker when I was away from it, or he could be a thief himself. Perhaps he could be splitting my milk with the thief as part of an agreement. Either way, I can't keep spending money on things and having them disappear. This is extremely troubling. The 10-plus year inmates prey on the shorter-term inmates. Watching many of these nasty inmates in jail, I get the impression that thieves watch others' eyes more than hands, but I'm more interested in looking at other people's hands than eyes. July 21st. A repairman was escorted onto the dorm by a black shirt guard and went to work on the kiosk and phones. The kiosk froze up again and glitched. The repair guy is only trained with fixing hardware, so all he did was unplug the kiosk from the inside and turn it back on. The software part, which is really the problem, is handled by a different company. That company can be reached through jailatm.com. The repairman's company is called Correct Solutions. So part of the problem with the kiosk is that the hardware techs are often fixing the software issues with a hardware solution. He says that his company can watch remotely for the status of the kiosks and also fix them remotely. He talked of being responsive within 15 minutes of the problem. However, the kiosk will often be down all day sometimes, so his company makes big promises that are not being followed through on. The repairman's primary duties are replacing phone parts. The earpiece was broke off on one phone, and the one was broken on the other phone. The repairman took care to replace those phone pieces quickly and leave. Inmates like to surround visitors. July 23rd. I had a VA healthcare worker visit me in jail today. The only reason that she saw me today was because I emailed her 2 days ago. She didn't see me in the DOC system because I'm in jail for the city, not the parish. The city is picking on me. That includes the mayor. The VA representative thinks that I qualify for some healthcare benefits. What better way is there to meet a VA rep than being in jail? Unfortunately, I can't qualify for any reentry programs that are run by the Department of Corrections. The city does not provide any inmate programs, yet they can sentence me for 9 months. There should be some kind of rehabilitative programs in place for long sentences. If 6 months is the limit the city is allowed to impose for each charge, perhaps any sentences over 6 months should require the city to provide reentry programs at their own expense. If you are thinking about contributing to Travis's commissary. I will have the instructions in the description of this video, and thank you for watching. I'm just the messenger. Not even the messenger, I'm just sharing. So if I learn anything new, I will be back to share it. Thanks for watching.